This is He Knows Everything, bringing you the heat and far. Let's talk about it, man. We have to give credit where credit is due. We have to give credit to i.e. Devin Booker. They ramelang the Los Angeles Lakers. Devin Booker is continuing what we call the Mamba mentality. Devin Booker is showcasing that last year wasn't just last year. This is what I like to see from Kobe Bryant students. I'm going to always talk great about Kobe Bryant. It's been unctioned unto me. It's been basically prophesied unto me. It's been basically molded unto me for me to do this. So I'm going to continue to do this. If nobody's going to give Kobe Bean Bryant the respect and the just due that he has outside of myself and a brother by the name of Tom Ross TV, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to continue to give Kobe Bryant the just due that he deserves. Because he deserves it, man. Kobe Bryant means to the game of basketball the equivalence of what Michael Jordan means to the game of basketball. Basically means everything. And you're seeing that as it's being basically manifested, as it's being basically what we would call alpha male transference into these guys who have attended the Mamba mentality, the Mamba Academy. Devin Booker is a Mamba Academy student. And he was smart enough to ingratiate himself with Kobe Bean Bryant. He was smart enough to basically align himself with Kobe. Doing that helped him out tremendously. Guys that want to impact themselves and get their game to the next level, they mold themselves up under Kobe Bryant. They align themselves up under Kobe Bryant. They basically usher themselves up under Kobe Bryant because it's the smart thing to do. It's the calculated thing to do. It's the verified and certified thing to do. When you got a guy to the level and the molding of a Kobe Bean Bryant, it behooves you to fall up under a KB24 because absence doing that, you're hurting yourself. You are positioning yourself in a negative way. Kobe Bryant is the embodiment of basketball. And basketball is the embodiment of Kobe Bryant. So when you see Devin Booker is able to continue greatness personification, and what do we say about greatness personification? Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. It's because of the idealism. It's because of the factor. And it's because of what we would say an ingratiation of Mamba mentality initiation, that when it's all said and done, Kobe Bryant, by doing the Mamba mentality, by doing the Mamba Academy, he gave them an invitation to the Alpha Nation. Let me say it again. Kobe Bryant, by doing the Mamba mentality and the Mamba Academy, he gave them the invitation to the Mamba, to the Alpha Nation. And when you do stuff like this, it helps and it basically inspires and it basically incorporates true basketball at its truest and its most properest levels. Because basketball has levels to it. But the simplicity of the sport, the understanding of the sport, is putting the ball in the basket and finding the most fundamental and skilled way to do it. This is how Kobe Bean Bryant played the game of basketball. This is why he's a master and a student of the game. And the defensive component, locking your opponents down. And if you can't lock them down, limit them at best. Basically hinder them from scoring so that when you're scoring, they're not scoring. This is what basketball is at its truest and its most properest levels. This is basketball 101. This is basketball 202. This is basketball 303. They want to tell you all of these different schemes, offenses, all of these different sets from a defensive and offensive standpoint. All of that is cute and dandy. Learning actual plays is nice. Learning how to deal with situational basketball is great. But when it's all said and done, basketball is simplified by you scoring the basketball and you limiting your opponent. When you understand this ideology, you understand this fundamental, you understand this basic elemental principle, then you understand the game of basketball. This is why the LaFraud James AAU style does not work. See, Devin Booker gets it. Now, Devin Booker needs to ascend defensively. Devin Booker needs to take his game to the next level from a defensive standpoint. Devin Booker needs to understand that if you're going to adopt the Mamba mentality in the Mamba Academy, you're going to have to be an elite two-way player. You're going to have to usher in defense like nobody's business. You're going to have to make sure from a defensive standpoint, you are locking down your opponent. Because it ain't just about scoring. It's about locking down your opponent. Kobe Bryant proved this by being 9-time first all NBA defensive. He was a first all NBA defensive team 9 times straight. And then he made second teams a number of years. Should have been first team more than 10 if you ask me. Same thing with Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But you know, they don't want to seem like these guys are just so elite defensively, so they have to find ways to propagate themselves. For Jordan to be an elite for 15 years and to have 9 all first defensive, that's impressive, man. That's over half of his career being 9. That's over half of his career being all first defensive, dog. That's a hellified defender. That's a lockdown defender, especially with the responsibilities of basically controlling the team. Kobe Bean Bryant, this man played 20 years. Go ahead. And for him to have 9 first defensive teams in that stretch of period of time, it's impressive, man. That's half of his damn career. This is what these guys bring to the table. They bring you greatness personification. So Devin Booker needs to understand that his maturation, his elevation, his basically what we would say game of basketball has to ascend by being an elite two-way player. This is my decree for Devin Booker. I like what he's doing offensively, but I got to see you locking people down. I got to see you shutting people down. No matter how great you get offensively, I have to see this on the other side of the ball, because defense is something you can always improve. You can always become an elite defender. The question is, do you have the mindset? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the understanding? Do you have the capabilities? Do you have the ability in of itself to get the job done? And if you have that, and that is a caveat of yours, it's a prerequisite that you understand you have to have if you are a Mamba mentality and a Mamba Academy student, then get the job done. Do I believe that Devin Booker has it in his mind to get it done? Yes. I do believe a Devin Booker could get it done. But you just got to get it done. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat telefashion. So I'm impressed. I'm enthused. I'm excited at the fact that you basically gave us a continuation of the Los Angeles Fakers, which is great, which is beneficial, which is helpful, which is evident in of itself, which is key, which is what we want. But in actuality, you got to get the job done. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat telefashion. On the other side of the basketball, defensively is where it's at. Because offense gets the glory, but defense wins the game. Offense gets the glory, but defense wins championships. See, Dennis Rodman said that on Universal Soldier. The movie with him and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude is offensive bound. Dennis Rodman is defensive bound. And together they made a great pairing. The movie is garbage from an acting standpoint, but the references, the ideologies, the mindsets were very key of how basketball should be played. That movie gives you a great representation of basketball, because in order for them to work as a team, they had to have an offensive and a defensive attack. This is how you play the game of basketball. You got to have an offensive and a defensive attack. The offensive attack in shutting down, the offensive attack in basically scoring on your opponents left and right relentlessly. The defensive attack in shutting down your opponents and limiting them and putting limiters, i.e. clamps on them. This is what I want to see from Devin Booker. And if Devin Booker is able to get this done, he's able to showcase this pedigree, this variation, this aspect, and this dichotomy that he knows everything, then he will get the ultimate salute of the damn day. But I'm not surprised that Devin Booker ram-a-lang LeBron James. I'm not surprised that they ram-a-lang the Los Angeles Fakers. It's a continuance of what they did last year. Devin Booker first rounded him. A first rounder is always expected to be done, because a LeBron James is what he is at his truest and his most properest levels. A LeBron James. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat telefashion. Devin Booker, you get the biggest salute of the damn day. But remember, He knows everything's putting you on a decree, a time limit for you to develop your defense. Absence doing that, ain't gonna be no more salutes. There's gonna be basically you as a one-sided player, and he knows everything's gonna have to get on your rabbit ass. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.